Alhamdulillah, salatu wassalam ala nabina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. I'd like to talk briefly about certain issues in many Muslim community in Western countries is mental health issues. Those in the community who suffer from mental health issues. What are our obligations to them, and how do we spot people who have mental health? Living in a Western society with society that is pretty much that's about capitalism, dunya, money, you find that many people suffer from all different types of mental health, like depression, manic depression, bipolar, so on and so forth. What is our obligation to Muslims who suffer from these things? This one I might talk a little bit later on in the video or another video. What are some of our duties to them? But I like to talk more, something that's more important is when do we decide, or when do we know that mental health is the issue and not being possessed by jinn is the issue? We have where many people, alhamdulillah, many Muslims, they use the Quran and the Sunnah to the best of their ability as ruqiyya, as those people who suffer from jinn, people who suffer from mental health issues. But we have many people within our community who suffer from mental health issues, and they blame it on jinn. They like to blame it on the jinn. So how do you determine that you're not possessed by jinn or you're suffering from mental health? I have found many Muslims in some communities where the person is suffering from mental health and they refuse to take the medication because they say they are possessed with jinn. Now, if you're being possessed with jinn, or you think you have possessed with jinn, first of all, Allah says in the Quran, فَاسْأَلْ أَخْرُ ذِكْرَ إِن كُنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Ask the people knowledge if you don't know. So somebody's a raqib, somebody who specializes in jinn, like a mashaykh or student of knowledge, this would be the person who will give you your, what is your ilaj? If you possessed with jinn or you're not possessed with jinn. I remember a situation with a sister who was possessed with jinn. She felt she was possessed with not actually jinn, but sihr, sihr. She was affected by sihr. So there's different times people are affected either by sihr, by anu haq, the evil eye, or people are suffering and from jinn in general, jinn possession. I remember in one community, a sheikh from Saudi had came, and the sister, she claimed that she's possessed with jinn. So the sheikh was talking to the sister and asked, are you suffering from mental health issues? And the sister said that she was bipolar and that she takes medication. So the sheikh was dealing with her, and he said, yeah, he could see that she has some jinn with her from sihr. And he told her different alaj to do related to being in a state of tahara, about reading Quran, about staying away from shirk, be upon tawheed, increasing iman, being very clean in the house, making the salah on time, and related to the woman, related to her haid, related to her menses, and being very keen to the menses, right? But he didn't tell her to stop taking the medication. He told her to continue taking the medication for the mental health issue. He told her to continue taking the medication. Now we have some Muslims in our community who are suffering from mental health issues and they refuse to take their medication, and they blame their illness on the jinn from sihr, anu haq, the evil eye, and things like this, and they refuse to take the medication until the person ends up in the hospital. Now, I'm not saying that everything in Western the medical field is correct related to mental health issues. This is not a video talking about this, but there's some cases, yes, we can recognize in the mental health issues that people really are possessed with jinn, and they give them medication and treat it as somebody who has a mental health case or status. This is not the case when I'm talking about. I'm talking about people who've been diagnosed by doctors, individuals who sat with a sheikh, a raqib, and raqib told them that yes, you might have mental health issues, or you don't. They don't see nothing wrong with you. Now we have some people, they would take one person as a raqib who's not qualified from Quran and the Sunnah, who don't know the correct way from the Quran and the Sunnah to deal with people who have these elements related to Jinn and Sihr and Ain al-Haq. And then we have those individuals who know. A lot of times what people do is, for example, people fish for fatwa. They have those individuals who fish for fatwa, meaning they go ask this sheikh for fatwa, and they go ask another sheikh the same question to get it. They ask different sheikhs for a different fatwa until they get what feeds their whims and desires, not what is correct, but what feed their whims and desires. We have many Muslims who suffer from mental health issues, who will go around to different raqib. Someone who's a raqib asks 2, 3 of them, and they all give them the same answer, or they'll actually give them the alaja, and they're not content with the alaja. They're not content with it. They're not content, right? And then they keep on saying, oh, that was Sheikh, the one who gave him this alaja. Oh, he don't know what he's talking about. They go to somebody else and know what they're talking about. And in reality, this person is suffering from mental health issues, and they are denying their state of being. They are denying their state of being. Now, as working in the community, that you find some of us who works in masajids, who works as counselors, who works as caretakers, who work with children or adults. You find that a lot of us are not pretty much trained or have an eye for this. Many of us are not trained or have an eye for this. Few of us do. So it's very important as a Muslim, how do you know if a person is possessed with Jinn or they have mental health issues? For those individuals who have mental health issues and they're not looking for solutions from them, that was from the Quran and the Sunnah, and not looking for the medical treatment. You know, the medical treatment for certain mental ailments are permissible in Islam. Some of the treatment, or a lot of the treatment for mental health issues, are permissible in Islam. And if for a Muslim to deny a type of alaja, some type of treatment for his mental state or his physical state, this could be you turn around and say you don't want the bounty of Allah. Allah makes a lot of time for medication and permissible for us to use them. So for a Muslim who has a part of a community or in a leadership position in the community, what you should do is to recommend the person to see mental health counseling, some type of mental health counseling. It's also important that if the Muslim in the community have a Muslim who is a Muslim psychologist who is practicing Islam, because you have many people who suffer from mental health issues and their family are in denial. Their family are actually in denial. You know, we have this case when families are actually in denial, and they don't want the child or the one in their care to get the mental health treatment because they're in denial and they don't want to be looked at as being odd or abnormal within the eyes of the community or people in the community or within their own family from other family members. So they would deny the treatment while the person will continuing suffering. Related to those people in communities in leadership positions, you have to find a way to get Muslims who are mental health issues to find ways they can get some type of counseling and find mental health solutions. Because sometimes when people who have mental health issues and they think or they feel that they possessed, and in reality they're not possessed, they have no effect by no jinn or sihr, that they're in denial of the medication or denial of the situation, the mental health situation, and refusing to take the medication. In some cases and sometimes their situation gets worse and worse, especially for a lot of women. We have a lot of sisters who have mental health issues and they're not taking medication and they have children in their care. And this is when you see ACS who's dealing with children, and they take their children away, they put them in foster care with non-Muslim foster parents, and everything under the sun happens to the children. Either they be exposed to a lot of kufr, a lot of shirk, a lot of haramat like zina and fornication and homosexuality. They're affected by these things, and then the child gets taken out that Muslim home and they put in an environment like this, and then only the person who's really suffering the most are the children. So what you should do is find Muslim doctors, psychologists who deal with mental health, and have them able to lead people in your community who has mental health issues to get the proper care, and don't wait till the last minute. The last minute is ACS come in, take a person away, child away because the mother has mental health issues, or that something happens, the parent does something very harmful to the child, which could be something could hurt the child, hurt their health, physical health, or could take their life due to their parents having mental health issues. So you need to find ways to deal with individuals so don't get that far. Now, in some masjids, like in New York, you find many people who have men who has mental health issues. And they come to the masjid, and many times they cause a lot of confusion, a lot of aggression with the Muslims in the community, fighting, stealing, arguing, and people don't understand that this person have a mental health issue and how to deal with them. You need to start being more aware how to deal with Muslims who have mental health issues, especially when you live in big cities, urban cities, big cities, where there's a lot of people are depressed, money, finance is an issue, and people become depressed, and how to deal with them, and how to give them a good alaja, the good cure, the treatment, and give them in the right environment so they can start healing and dealing with this situation. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك واشهد ان لا اله الا انت استغفرك واتوب اليك.